Hi everyone, today I want to do a quick video about Chaz. It's known as Chop now, but for those of you who don't know, about 2 weeks ago, a group of anarchists, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, hippies, and general leftists took over the 6 block area of downtown Seattle, and they called it the Cap Hill Autonomous Zone and declared it outside the United States. Now, as any new nation, it has its problems. It was landlocked. It is landlocked. It has no GDP to speak of. It doesn't produce anything. I think the unemployment rate is close to 100%. There's no data, obviously, to confirm this, but it seems like it's about 100%. So that means they are reliant on other nations, principalities, to support them, to recognize them. Well, the mayor of Seattle, in her infinite wisdom, has decided to recognize them and said on CNN that it could be the summer of love in Chaz, in the new nation of communists and anarchists and every other type of leftist that you can think of. Now, the governor of Washington has seemed to stick his head in the sand and doesn't know what's going on. The only party pooper in this situation seems to be Trump. He called them terrorists and said Washington and Seattle needs to get its act together and take care of them. Well, he was poo-pooed by them. They told him to go back in his bunker. Now, what are the morals? What is life like in the nation of Chaz? So it seems like they are pro walls, which is surprising because most leftists say that walls are an abomination and they are a crime against humanity. You've heard it all in the news. You've heard it from them, but they have checkpoints and they check IDs. They have people patrolling the checkpoints. It's not quite like Fox News portrays it, with people with guns around barricades, but they're not pro-immigration, especially if you disagree with them. If you disagree with them politically, forget about it. They've choked out, those street preachers that I think we've all seen with all the signs that scream about Jesus that no one listens to. Well, they choked him out and carried him out of Chaz. There was a black man that went in with a American flag, and they shouted at him race traitor and escorted him out of Chaz. It seems sort of hypocritical to me, since they had Black Lives Matter signs and graffiti all over the place. Now, well, we got to talk about the graffiti a little bit. There's graffiti everywhere. Now, this could become a tourist attraction, like the Hollywood Walk of Fame, the Chaz Walk of Graffiti, where you can see all their tags and graffiti all over the walls. They can charge $5 and you can take the graffiti Walk of Fame, I guess. Now, they're also pro-gun, it seems. Now, this is also surprising because most leftists want to take away our Second Amendment rights. Not all, but there's definitely people with long rifles and other guns within Chaz. And like I said before, they're not for free speech. They're for free speech if you agree with them. Now, as far as racial relations go, you may think it's a utopia because the leftists always tell us that the races will get along beautifully if they're in charge. Well, it seems like they've gone back to a segregationist system. There are gardens in Chaz that are only for black people. There are parks, parts of the park that are only for black people, that are ironically guarded by white people surrounding the black people in the park, if you see the pictures. Their ruling council, their community council, is no white people allowed. It's all black, although they do have some diversity because there's a spot reserved for a gay black person and there's a spot reserved for a trans black person. There was, it looks like they considered a white woman could be on the council, but that was crossed out. I guess that's not diverse enough. What these people don't understand is that an all-black council is just as non-diverse as an all-white council. But anyway, I digress a little bit. I'm still thinking a little bit about segregation and how dumb these people are. That segregation doesn't work. It can't work. It did not work. It did not work before, and we spent lots of blood and treasure and decades to get rid of it. And especially today, it's not going to work. There's a lot more intermarriage today. And what are you going to do with a black man and a white woman and a interracial child? Are you going to let him in the black park if he's dark, and if the child is whiter skinned, then you're not going to let him in? Or you let the black person in and not the white spouse? It's just stupid and silly. Now, as Chaz has gone on, the leftist media has described it as a big party, as, oh, they're just peaceful protesters. The right-wing media has said they're all criminals, and it's somewhat in between. It's, in reality, during the day, it seems like it's more of a party atmosphere. Mostly, they do kick out undesirables, and they are still somewhat violent during the night. It seems like where all the issues happen. They've had 3 shootings in 3 days. I think there might have been a 4th today. And the ironic thing about the first shooting, which was deadly, a 19-year-old died, was that the cops were called, even though they're against cops. But the cops couldn't get in because they formed a human shield, a human chain, so the cops couldn't get into the area. And so the medics couldn't get in either. And the medics wouldn't go in because the police could not secure the scene. They couldn't secure what might be a violent area. And so the person died, and there's a video of a Chaz resident screaming at the medics saying that they should go in and run through the barricade, the human chain, when it was his own people that were keeping them out. It makes no sense to me. And then some of the city council on Seattle, who are big Chaz supporters and part of the Abolish the Police movement, came out and said, well, the police need to go in and investigate the murder, which doesn't make any sense to me either. If you want to abolish the police, then you shouldn't be asking for police help. Well, with all the violence, the mayor of Seattle has finally decided that it's not the summer of love, that the protesters, occupiers, need to go home. And she said she's going to send in the police, although she's banned the police from using pepper spray, tear gas, or any really serious methods of dispersal. She doesn't want them to use any deadly force. So they're basically going to go in with clubs. Now, these protesters, some of them have long rifles, some of them have guns, and many of them have vowed to stay. And if any police force goes in with force anyway, the media is going to have a field day. I can see it now. The media is going to just go crazy. Peaceful protesters who have occupied Chaz for weeks are being brutalized by the police, and they're going to be terrible, terrible optics. So I don't think that the mayor of Seattle is going to move in. I think she's going to threaten, but that's it. I think they're going to stay. Now, if it was up to me, which is not up to me, I would cut off the electricity, I would cut off the water, and I would cut off the cell phone access. I'd build my own barricade around their barricade and just send in food and wait for them to come out, because they'll come out eventually, and you won't get the ugly scene of police beating people up, of water cannons, of whatever they need to do to remove these people. Anyway, that's about all. Remember, never to believe in anybody's propaganda, not even your own. And if you like this video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye-bye.